Welcome to Gene's Place at Town Hall Theater. I am Zach Shivers, the box office manager, and I am so excited to be joined today by legendary performing artist Deborah Lubar. She's back after more than 25 years with a brand new solo drama, If You Were Really There, which she will perform right here at Town Hall Theater Friday, November 7th and Saturday, November 8th. Thank you so much for joining me, Deborah.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you.
When you've written about solo dramas, you've often encouraged young performers to look to ask questions versus trying to answer questions. And you say monologists or solo performers should scratch out deeper and deeper holes with their fingernails to get at the roots of the most succulent questions. For your new piece, If You're Really There, what are some of those succulent questions that you're asking?
Okay, I just want to say one thing. I am not the first or only one to go for questions over answers. Rilke is there, Goethe is, I don't want to take credit for that. And I think all people in the arts know that we're not coming up with answers. We're all coming up, hopefully, with questions. In this play, I threw out a lot of what I had when Trump was elected and when he was inaugurated. I hadn't restarted it. I just had to go, okay, what is our world now? And what are we going to need? How do I reflect that question in this play? And so I did a lot of, at least 3 hours a day for a while, reading the wonderful people who are on Substack, this alternative media, who speak the truth, who, unlike other journalists, tell you exactly what they think about what's going on, and then make meaning out of it from the points of view of so many kinds of minds: lawyers, historians, economists, journalists. They're wonderful, wonderful people. And they talk to each other and try and figure things out. I would spend a lot of time with that, a lot of time reading and thinking, a lot of time meditating on what is the best way to be right now. What do we need? There are probably as many answers as there are human beings in this world. There is no one answer, God forbid. And the question is renewed every day. And it's not the entirety of a play, but it's the background of it. It's the base. So it's that question, and the question was very real for me. What is the best way to not only to move through, but to be right now?
Who are some of the women that we'll meet in this show?
The main character is a made-up character named Pearl, who is inspired by, not based on, inspired by the actress Judith Malina of the Living Theater. And Judith, for those who don't know, and her husband Julian Beck began an off-Broadway theater in the 60s or 50s, and which went for decades. And they became very famous. This character is not herself like Judith, but she has the New York accent, Judith did. And she talks about her theater, and that is what's based on Judith Malina. And then there are other characters that I actually don't want to name or describe too much, because it will make it not as good when they come. However, in my mind, and maybe on the program, the piece is dedicated to the extraordinary old ladies of this world, and they are holding the world together, sewing it up. This is something most of us don't know. How many old women in how many places of the world are doing the hard work of holding the net of things together? It's extraordinary. I will talk about one of them, or one group, and that is when I took on the raising of my small granddaughter. I was 60, she was 2. And she was coming from a very difficult situation, and was not easy. And I remember thinking, what I could do is look at other grandmothers around the world who are taking care of their grandchildren. And I found this group of millions of them in sub-Saharan Africa taking care of the orphans who came out of the deaths in the AIDS epidemic, living in one-room shacks with no running water, with 9 children to raise. And I'm going, if I ever hear one complaint out of my mouth, I will shoot myself. And I became riveted, fascinated with, and then started looking at all the grandmothers in the world everywhere who are doing this in often very adverse situations. So those women are represented in the play. That's one group. But it became very difficult. There are so many women I don't talk about that I know about now that I've researched, because it would have turned into a PowerPoint lecture. Here are the great old ladies in the world, and they're doing these great things, and you should know about it. And you can't do that with a drama. And there was so much I had to leave out because of that. So I'll just have to say in the program, you would not believe how many women there. I just have a few that I touch on there.
You're returning to something after 25 years. If the last piece you wrote, it was in 2000, it's 2025. What brought you back? Is it just the political climate?
No, I was bludgeoned into it. You could say either bludgeoned or inspired. I can't decide which word to use. No, my partner is well known in this community, Marianne Lust, the creator and producer of Night Fires and many other things, who is directing this show and has directed a lot of my previous work. Marianne and I met 41 years ago in Stalingrad at a war memorial and found out that we were both in theater. We liked each other, so we sat on that war memorial hill in Stalingrad. Oh, when we get back to the United States, let's work together. She said, you act and write, and I'll direct and produce. Well, great. And we've been doing that. Most people who say that in Stalingrad never do it. We did. So she's my director. She said, I said, after 18 years of raising my granddaughter, I'm done. I'm going to do something other than theater. I can write children's books, which I've always wanted to do. And I threw out all my costumes, all my props in a big dumpster, all my makeup, all of it. And she started badgering me, because that's how she is, She doesn't ever give up. She said, no, you can still do this. You need to write another play, and I'll direct it. And no, get over it. Took her a couple of years to wear me down and give me faith at the same time. That's why I say bludgeon and inspire. It's a real mix, And I finally went, all right. And started it. And it took a long time. But it's her faith and her determination. I don't think on my own I would have done it. And I'm glad I did. Yeah, I think. I haven't performed it yet. So I'm not sure.
Yes. In addition to being a performing artist, you're also a healing artist and have done a lot of work on understanding the body. And I was curious, how has your relationship to your own body, to your body field, to your subtle body, all these things, some of this language that I found in your book, how has that changed as you have aged?
A lot. Like not having written a play. I had done some shows up to 20, even 15 years ago, but I hadn't written and memorized and rehearsed one for 25 years. It is so different doing it now. And it didn't, I went, can I do this? And oh, sure, you can. Everybody said, oh, sure. It takes me 5 times longer to memorize. And to memorize a 2.25 hour play is months for me. Anyway, but it's taking me, I don't have it memorized yet, and I go up in 5 minutes, so long. And it took so long to write and think about differently. And my stamina isn't the same. I've been working on it, but it's a lot of energy doing a solo show, a full-length solo show. And I'm almost 80, and it's different. It's very different. What the point of some of my show is, though, however, is what's also different is how huge my spiritual energy is of, I want to do this. I think differently now in good ways. That my whole spirit and emotion and mind is in there. My body is really slow. So that you can get old and you see these pieces of your body just, not functioning the way they used to at all. but your spirit is being forged and brightened and deepened, and you see more, and you've had more experience, and this whole other thing is happening. It's really, it's one of the points of my piece. Don't fear it. It's really great and horrible at the same time. It's not easy. It's not. So it's not easy for me to do this show. I have never run through the whole thing. I'm kind of scared. Like, will I fall down? I don't know. But I'll have to do it,
For people who have not seen your work before or this type of work, what would you say to invite them in?
It's really no different than going into any show you've never seen. It's not different. It's you're always taking a risk, and the audiences do that. They leave the busyness of their lives and come, and that's one of my loves of them. And they sit in a theater and they say, "Okay, I'm opening myself up to you, and and I will either like this or not like this." So I don't think it's any different from any other show, except one thing I will say that I'm always interested in is, I remember studying in anatomy and physiology that in order for one to move one part of the body, another part of the body needs to move down. And, if you lift this, something is balancing it, even though you don't see it or feel it. I think the heart is moved that way. And that laughter and tears together are one of the most powerful nourishments that we have. And I always hope that both of those are working simultaneously in my place. So I would say that. It's not a tragedy. It's not a comedy. It's a little of both. And just welcome. That's all I would say.
Well, I think that's a perfect place to end.
Yeah.
If you're really there, it opens November 7th and it runs the next day on November 8th. Tickets are on sale now. They're going really fast. We hope to see you there. Thanks again, Deborah.
Thank you, Zach.